chug some beers and make some bad gambling picks. Welcome to ChuggieBets. Welcome everyone back to the Bad Team Draft. We've got the results in and it is a steamer here. And I mean steamer as in shit. We have in last place Al. Congratulations. Your team is 5-4. The point of this game is to pick losers, not winners. How do you feel about yourself, Al?
My team's doing a great job, unfortunately.
I do think you're going to probably get some more L's on the record soon, but West Virginia has been awesome.
I may not catch any of you guys in L's. I don't know. Do I have 3 or 5 more division conference losses? I don't know.
Oh, Arizona's going to get you somebody. They'll get you there. Charlotte will get you there too.
What, you think West Virginia is going undefeated in the conference, bud?
Touche.
And he finally stacked up some losses to be in second to last place. He is 5-7. Georgia Tech does not look promising. Iowa State, Cal does not look promising. And luckily, Florida lost by 30 at Kentucky. So that really helped him out there. And dead in the middle, we've got Danny. He's 2-9, doing a hell of a job.
I should be 1-10 here. I don't know what happened with that Pitt Virginia Tech game, man. Pitt just did not show up at all. Like Narduzzi didn't even try to Narduzzi that game.
That team stinks. Like their offense sucks. I know it normally sucks.
They're so bad. They're so bad.
They're atrocious. BYU,
I had to have that game on one of my quad boxes for a little while before I found a different option, and it was just like, no, I don't want it.
No one should have to watch that game.
It's like the portion of the quad box you stare at to zone out because you're overwhelmed.
But all the other 3 commercials. All the other 3 are on commercials, and you can't put the audio on anything else. You just leave it on the Ben Affleck and whatever her face is commercial.
It's like a Wendy's commercial you're listening to, but you're watching Pitt the game away.
Honestly, I'd rather hear the play-by-play of the Wendy's commercial than no one in that. Even the announcers have to be bored with Pitt Virginia Tech. Oh, great, incompletion. It just sounds like a repetitive sound in their head. Just the word incompletion. They go insane from it.
And that's another rush for 2 yards on 3rd and 13. This will be the 6th punt of the quarter.
In second place, someone who cleaned up last week, Sunshine. Boston College helped him out. Kansas got a big loss at Texas. That was really helpful. Vandy's struggling. Arizona State's going to struggle. And Nebraska stinks. How do you feel about yourself, Sunshine?
I feel damn fine, Matthew.
You look great. And finally, my team of catastrophe, 1-11, winning percentage of 8.33%. I've got Virginia. I've got Rutgers, who keeps making things trouble, but boy, Houston stinks. At Stanford is awful.
Dude, that Mississippi State pick is looking fantastic now.
I know. Everyone went east. I had to find someone in the West who would be a big loser as they got beat up on every week. And Mississippi State looks like the right candidate.
Matt, you're a little too far down on that low horse of yours. I'm going to need you to chug a beer and cheer up, okay?
Fair enough.
This is horse shit.
So, Al, why don't you introduce everybody while I do this?
Yeah, so I'm Al. That's Matt. That's Sunshine. That's Danny. We're chugging beers. We're making picks. Welcome to ChuggieBets.
Oh, yeah, we all have to chug a beer again now. Haha, Matt.
Oh, yeah, doubled you up.
God, that was a lot of cold beer. Well, pardon me, guys, whoever I burped in their ear. Oh, no, I don't have the file up.
You're forgiven because it was a double chug.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm going to filibuster for a second while I get the documents up.
Oh.
So let's get into action. We left you with UCLA and Washington State talking Dante Moore and Cam Ward, which should be a good game. Is there less of a home field advantage than a UCLA home game? I feel like nobody goes to the game.
Probably, but yeah.
I can't think of it off the top of my head.
Maybe one of the Bowling Greens or
Western Kentucky.
One of the St. Louis's.
I bet they show out in Western Kentucky in Bowling Green, Western Kentucky.
Yeah.
But Ohio, those people don't go to there. Nobody in Ohio goes to games.
I think it's more specific as to who the opponent is, right? Like if they're bringing in a Tulsa, who gives a fuck?
Probably.
Exactly.
Yeah. Let's go from an apathetic fan
Al,
base.
no forgiveness for that one.
Okay.
No, you got to apologize. You got to apologize to
I'm
everybody.
sorry. I'm so sorry to all of our sweet listeners, delicate eardrums. It's many a bodily function happens. It's normal. We all do it. Excuse me. I apologize.
Al, we all know it's all normal and we do it, but like you could just tilt your microphone.
I could, but this isn't a podcast on etiquette. It's a podcast on drinking beer.
Tilt the microphone up.
Let's go from a apathetic fan base to an incredibly passionate and dangerous, maybe cultish fan base in Texas A&M as they invite Alabama into town. A lot of picks here. I'm going to let Sunshine start us off here.
So my bet here is I'm taking over at 48.5. My reasoning for this is, aside from last year, which was 44 points, the previous 3 years they've scored like 70 points. So I think they're going to pick up where they left off. And hopefully it's a good game.
So I will say Alabama's defense hasn't been dominating this season. That does sort of make sense. Texas A&M, on the other hand, I just don't see it. I don't see how they are at 4-1. I mean, I guess a lot of it's the teams they've played, but their only loss being Miami doesn't really sit right with me. Alabama seems to have had a couple of get right games the last two, so I'm laying the points here. It's only 2.5. You're laying less than a field goal with Alabama here, so I'm gonna do it.
And then I'm gonna
take Chris.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the under 50 here. Obviously the total's dropped a little bit since Sunshine jumped on it here, so it's kind of a ideal number for each of us. But the logic is Bama's defense is going to do well against A&M's anemic offense, and vice versa, right? Alabama's offense is not really chugging on all cylinders. So I think you put those things together, you combine it with the fact that this line is a lot tighter than people would probably expect. And that means if the trap play is A&M plus 2.5, or the trap play is Bama, so A&M plus 2.5 is a smart play, then, and I don't really have the cojones to back the Aggies, so I think the under kind of plays in well with that and still has an opportunity to hit despite Alabama running away with it.
Yep. Yeah. I like him. I like them all. I know we're all over the board. I don't know what's going to happen in that game. That line is weird. I would have thought Alabama would have been a bigger favorite, especially with Connor Wegman hurt, and they're starting Max Johnson as their quarterback. So something's up with this line.
Yeah, so the line opened at 7.5, and I would have guessed it to have moved from there to like in the 8.5 to 9.5 range.
Yeah.
Not so massively the other direction. Down, 5 points the other direction. So that's weird.
So it's the thought that A&M's backup quarterback is actually really good.
Maybe look, A&M has some incredibly talented players, right? And they've been playing well against everyone except Miami. Miami pushed them around. So I don't know if they're developing more and these young players are getting a little more seasoned and getting improved. Their D-line is good. Like Texas A&M's D-line is good. Their corners are good. That Miami game was crazy considering the talent that's on that field. Maybe Miami's
Texas A&M has really good receivers. Texas A&M has really good wide receivers.
Yeah, they have a ton of talent. And I'm saying maybe Miami's really good. Maybe that's the correction.
I'm not going to believe it.
All right. Well, not until we beat you, and we better beat you by like 40, and then I'll say we're good.
Yeah, Matt, tell me why you're abstaining from this next game.
Okay, so we got Virginia Tech at Florida State. Look, this feels like a really good spot to jump on Florida State, in my opinion. Florida State's coming off a bye. Virginia Tech has not played particularly well. They invested a lot in beating Pittsburgh, who, as we just said, is very bad. But there's also a chance they may be resting some players. I think there's a really good chance they're going to be resting a lot of their players who are a little bit banged up. Look, everyone knows Jordan Travis got hurt in the Boston College game. He got hurt in the Clemson game. he will there's a chance he'll be on the bench, right? The line opened at 28, has moved to 24.5. I think Florida State will win by 20. I do not know if they'll win by 24 without Travis, but I do think they could win by 20 with Rodemaker or Duffy or Brock Glenn as the quarterback, right? I think there's a really good chance. They're much, much better. If I knew Travis was playing, I'd probably lay it.
Travis does still have a chance to be a Heisman finalist, but he doesn't really seem like he's going to be in that top two. It seems like it's a two-man race right now with Pennick and Caleb Williams, right?
It does. Or Bo Nix. Bo Nix has played great at Oregon too. Like the problem is the Pac-12 is so stacked with damn good quarterbacks. And even if they beat each other up a little bit, I don't think it's going to hurt anything because the league is so strong.
Yeah.
So that's my thought here. Boys,
maybe they'll all trade votes and Van Dyke will get it somehow.
So let me explain why I'm taking 24.5 points with Virginia Tech. Andy is following that as well. He's on Vatech plus 24. The thought is, I mean, obviously the wheels could fall off this one early and Florida State could run away with it big time and it could look really silly. But I also think the opportunity exists for Florida State to come out essentially half-ass it the whole game and still win comfortably and not come anywhere close to covering this number. You know what I mean? Like a 3-score lead, 21-0 in the third quarter, and they just kind of put the backups in, and Vatech gets a score late, and that's about it. So that's my thought. It's gonna be a game you don't want to watch.
I'm gonna watch it, but you should watch
something else.
Washington State UCLA.
Alabama A&M is probably, hopefully onto the tailgate near me.
Yeah. Sonny, what are you doing here, buddy?
I'm riding the Florida State over. I've been riding the Florida State over all season. I'm going to ride with it until it ends.
All right, let's ride. Let's ride. We got Wake Forest going into Clemson. This is a pick I almost pulled the trigger on. Andy did pull the trigger on. He is taking the points with Wake Forest against Clemson. I've had to talk myself out of it because the numbers say it's like a 15 or 16 point game. Doesn't matter. Wake Forest isn't particularly good. Clemson looks like they're getting better. They're heating up. That Florida State game was a tough game, right? Like they lost. That stinks. The Duke game was a disaster, but I think Clemson's going to proceed to get better as the year goes on. So I don't know what to do.
21 right now. Is that what he has?
Yeah, plus 3.
That when it opened, the line was only at like 15, so I ignored this game, but I didn't realize you could get 21 now.
21's pretty good.
I like that Wake at 21.
Yeah, I like it too. I can't do it. I got to find some winners on this board. I got to get my record right. Another good ACC game that's really interesting. Drake May is having a killer year. He's kind of lost in all the Heisman talk because the Pac-12 has been so good. He's been really good. And they're inviting Syracuse into town. And North Carolina is an 8.5-point favorite. Sunshine, what are you doing here?
I'm taking the points with I'm laying the points with UNC minus 8.5. They are playing at home, like you said. Drake May is underrated. Pretty sure they're undefeated.
I think so.
Yeah,
they haven't lost.
And I don't know what Syracuse is up to, but they're not beating them.
So. Syracuse is 4-1. They're no slouch, but I if I would have gotten this at the opening line, I would have laid it, but I'm not going to do it at 8.5.
What was it at 6.5?
6.5.
Yeah, that sounds right. Al, what are you doing here, buddy?
Yeah, I'm with Sunshine. The Orangemen are getting boat raced in this one. It's in North Carolina. UNC's got the better offense. They've got the better defense. They've got the better quarterback. They've got the better playmakers. This should be like a 2.5 score spread.
Syracuse has played most of their games at home, but they did go into Purdue and beat them pretty handily. And Purdue does have that old Texas quarterback, that super handsome dude.
That's in card.
Yeah, he's pretty good, but they're not a particularly good team otherwise.
Yeah, I also think they've had their run. They're due for a downfall.
I literally only know handsome quarterbacks. That's like
that's Danny's expertise.
Well, then let's hold on for the next one as we go into Purdue going against Iowa. You got Hudson Card versus the backup likely at Iowa, and the boys are in alignment here. Danny, what are you thinking here?
I'm going Iowa minus 2.5. So, like I said, Purdue, while they do have Hudson Card, who, by the way, probably could be a starter. He was a good starting quarterback at Texas. They just happened to get like a couple of amazing quarterbacks, like
Yep.
Quinn Ewers, Heisman candidate, and then the Manning kid, with not Coop. Yeah,
What's his name?
I think it's Coop, right? It's
Hudson.
It's Junior.
Hudson-
It's but anyway, what are you gonna say about Hudson?
I was gonna say Hudson Card looks like Trey Kennedy.
He looks like a Disney prince to me.
Danny has a type.
I do. But Joe Milton's also that type, and he doesn't look like a Disney prince.
does
So I have
not.
a lot of types.
Walt hasn't made a movie about a Joe Milton type, that's for sure. Sonny, what are you doing?
I'm laying the 2.5 with Iowa, by the way, because I just don't think Purdue's that good. And Iowa, while they have shown that they are just unwilling to score points, but I don't think the quarterback matters. Really, the corner is gonna. What's that dude's name that just like won the game last time? Yeah, Deshaun. That guy can play, man.
He's awesome.
Returning punts for touchdowns and getting interceptions. Whew.
He's going to be a top 10 pick, so you'll see him on Sundays very soon. Sonny, what are you doing here?
Um.
Oh, I'm sorry, Andy. Al, what are you doing here?
Yeah, I mean, Sunshine, if you want to jump on it, feel free to. But it doesn't look like you got to play here. Do you have anything in your eye on or no? Okay.
No.
Yeah. Andy and I are laying the 2.5 on Iowa as well. It doesn't matter who plays quarterback for Iowa; they don't do much anyway. Iowa's defense, and whatever they have of a running game are going to take care of this enough on their own. So get a couple play action passes in there, maybe get a score that way. But Iowa will cover this.
Iowa's got the best punter in the land too, so don't forget that. He can flip the field better than anyone. 3:30, I got Texas State going into Louisiana. Look, Louisiana, I'm gonna give you a little pep talk. I bet you once you should have kicked the shit out of Buffalo, and you were kicking the shit out of Buffalo. And then you messed around and let them score 2 touchdowns in the last 3 minutes, and your boy didn't cover.
It wasn't very
That's
nice,
going to be forgiven if you beat Texas State. You should beat Texas State. You're at home. You're better than Texas State. Listen to me. You can do this. I'm laying 1 point with Louisiana. If you don't cover this, you're dead to me the rest of the year. I'm just betting against you the whole rest of the year. So
I don't know if I agree with you that they're better than Texas State, but
Texas State's pretty good. They are pretty good, right? But I think this should be
I think it's a correct line, which is no value, and it's not a game in this 3:30 window I'm going to watch because there's too many other good ones, so I'm not going to bet it.
I'm not saying you have to watch it. Money doesn't care who watches.
See, this is why you guys make more money than me. You're only betting on games that you think you can make money on, and I bet on the games I want to watch.
No, this is why we lose less money, not why we win more, because we're all doing poorly. Let's not forget. I'm sorry. We're all great.
I'm sorry to go back to the Iowa game, but do you think they scored more than 25 points?
Oh, so they did hit the number last week, right? And they kicked a weird field goal at a time they didn't need to kick a field goal in order to hit that number. Yeah. So they're getting closer. I'll do a breakdown next week. I'll get the whiteboard out and really crunch some numbers.
Yeah, they're getting real close to having to score 35 points a game at this point. So.
they're getting suspiciously close. They needed that 25 against Michigan State. We got a really interesting game at 3:30 with a really large number for a military academy. We got North Texas going into Navy. Al, what are you doing here?
Yeah, Andy and I again are both on this under 61.5 and 62 is what Andy got it at. The thought here is North Texas loves to run the ball, and while they are capable of explosive running plays and putting up points, Navy is also a rush heavy team. 62 points is a lot for these two teams to put up. I think there's going to come a point where, whether it's in the first half or second half, where it looks like this one's going to go over, and then you're going to get like a scoreless quarter. And you're going to be, comfortably
it's
under.
Just 1 8-minute drive is all it takes, man. 1 8-minute drive.
Like there's probably going to be a quarter where there's 3 touchdowns, and you're going, "Oh fuck, this is going to go over." And then they're like, "We'll be 1 or 2 quarters with like one score. So under 61.5, under 62. I like both.
Yep, that makes sense to me. Let's go to more Maction at 3:30. We got Ball State at Eastern Michigan. Al, what are you doing here with Ball State?
Yeah, so Andy's taking Ball State plus 2.5, which kind of jives with my thought, which is over 45. I think Ball State is capable of keeping this game close, and Eastern Michigan, this is, it's just like wonky Maction, and this total is too low. So I'm taking over 45.
I like it. I like it too. Yeah, you said Andy's taking Ball State plus 2.5 as well. So let's go to more Maction. There's a lot of 3:30 Maction this week. Kent State at Ohio. I'm taking the points with Kent State. I know Ohio is really good. Curtis Works really good. I've talked about it in previous podcasts. I think he's legitimately a good quarterback. I think he would be the best quarterback in the Big Ten West. Let's put it that way. Just feels like too many points. Too many points. 26 is a lot. I know Kent State's bad, right? They're bad.
That's sneaky, Matt. That's sneaky to say Big Ten West.
I didn't miss. I think he could be the best quarterback. No. He would be the second best quarterback in the SEC West, behind Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
Usually
is that better? That's a lot sexier, right? Than the Big Ten West.
I like the pick. I'm also on it. I got 26.5. Kent State plus 26.5. Andy's on Kent State plus 26 also. The thought, basically it's just too many points. Ohio's really good, like genuinely a good team, not just a good MAC team. But MAC games are weird, and Kent State's capable of putting a couple scores on the board, and if they do that, then it's hard to see Ohio cover this number.
Agreed. Let's go to a game that no one should watch. Everybody at home, you have a lot better things to do. If you're contemplating watching this game, go mow the lawn. Go mow the lawn, okay? Because clearly you're not paying any attention.
So just to get back to the Big Ten West, the best quarterback in the Big Ten West is probably Hudson Card.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's like,
I agree.
So like you're not really like, but if you go to the Big Ten East, you got Tua's
Drew
brother,
Aller?
I mean, but just like that side, you got Penn State, Michigan, Maryland, Ohio State. Like, you're gonna have the better quarterbacks there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why do they put it that way?
Why did I put it that way?
No, why do they split it that way?
I don't know.
Leaders and legends, baby. Leaders and legends.
It'll be more fun next year when UCLA and USC and Oregon and Washington are in the Big Ten West. It's going to be a lot tougher.
Genuinely will be a lot better. Yeah.
It will be.
Yeah,
also,
I think they're going
McNamara is probably the best quarterback in the Big Ten West.
Sadly, Hudson Card is probably the best. I forgot the guy at Wisconsin. Mordecai.
Tanner Mordecai? No, Graham Mertz? No,
Graham Mertz is at Florida. I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Mordecai? Yeah, Tanner Mordecai, right?
Makes my point even more evident that it's going to be Curtis Work. Sorry, South Florida.
I disagree that Cade McNamara is better than Hudson Card.
Okay.
I agree with Danny there in his disagreement. He's correct. I got South Florida going to UAB. This is way too many.
For listeners that don't know who Cade McNamara plays for, that's the Iowa quarterback that just got hurt and can't average 25 points a game. That's why I'm so sure that he is not. He's not playing next week, for one. He also can't average 25 points a game, so he can't be better than Purdue's quarterback.
Well, he's not LeBron James. It's not basketball. He doesn't score them all by himself.
He's the quarterback.
Under 67.5. I'm not going to bore you anymore with UAB South Florida. That's way too many points for two teams that. Did you see Trent Dilfer absolutely losing his mind on his defensive coordinator during the game?
Trent Dilfer's a tool, man. I can't stand the guy. He seems like a real shithead coach that no one should ever want to play for.
He's the head coach at UAB now, and he was absolutely lighting up his defensive coordinator in the middle of the game, like way too much. It was uncomfortable. But
he loves to scream at kids too. He's a real piece of work.
Andy's on UAB +4. Sure, I that's fine. I think that's probably the right side of that one too. But let's go to 6 o'clock.
Anytime you can get points when you're playing South Florida, you should probably take them
at home.
That's weird.
That's
weird. Tulsa is going to FAU. Andy is on Tulsa +4 there. Sure. I don't really know. I don't really know about the FAU quarterback status. I know Thompson's out, so I kind of fell off the FAU watching bandwagon, but that feels good. Let's go to
I haven't watched
Colorado.
an FAU game this year, I don't think.
Colorado going to the land of the rising sun. I don't know if that's what they call it. I forgot. It's like the land of the midnight sun. That's Japan. Or Sweden. Sorry, I'm all over the place. I'm gonna
Land of the rising sun is Japan.
Burning the midnight oil.
That's why they have the sun on their flag.
Living here
yeah.
in Allentown.
Yeah, sorry. I'm going to shut the fuck up now and just say Colorado is going to Arizona State.
On the streets of Philadelphia.
Let's make more racial jokes while we talk about Colorado.
Sorry, that was not intended.
I
clearly a mistake. Al, what do you like in this game?
Sorry, I was queuing up the Tom Brenneman. I'm going to lay 4 with Colorado. Lock of the week. Like, lock it up. Lock it. I don't care if it looks like a trap line. Like, if Shedeur Sanders is playing, they're covering 4 points against Arizona State. Like, what the hell? Stupid.
Is Hunter back or he's still out?
I think he's still going to be out.
He might be though. It's pretty close.
It was a concussion, right?
No, ribs. Lacerated liver.
Oh yeah, the lacerated. It was like a Oregon thing. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So he might not. I think
it was
either way.
4 weeks, and it's been. I think this is the 3rd week.
I got this line after you, so I got 5.5, and I still liked it even if he doesn't play. So
yeah.
Chris, you got somebody?
Oh yeah. Deion Sanders he's going to win this game. Statement.
Is 6:30 prime time?
It's close. I mean, not in Colorado. It's not.
That's a perfect time to hit the gas station and watch this game on the Pac-12 channel, which I'm sure 6:30 indicates there.
Yeah.
Does anybody know how to actually? Because like some of these games I do kind of want to watch, and like, how do you get them?
It's annoying. So I've watched games on Fox Sports app. I've watched them on CBS Sports app. I've watched them on, I think, Paramount Plus, maybe. I don't know. Like, they're all over the place. SEC Network, ACC Network, Longhorn Network, ESPN 8.
So ESPN used to, like, if it's on a major network, they will put the network next to the game when they have the score, but, like, they will not put the streaming service if it's a streaming service. The only one they'll give you is ESPN Plus.
I don't know what agreement the CW has, but there have been multiple games on the CW that I wanted to watch, and it could not pull up on my phone because I don't have a CW app to stream from.
Do you guys remember Jefferson Pilot or Raycom? This is really inside ACC stuff. They're like the noon game that wasn't the primetime game of the ACC. It was always like Virginia Tech's going into Boston College, and we were on your Raycom broadcast. It was like some random channel on your television.
The worst announcing, the worst broadcast.
And the game was always sponsored by Bojangles, like the chicken North Carolina. It was literally always a Bojangles sponsor. But the CW is still in that role. They're filling in the Raycom Jefferson Pilot role. Sonny, do you remember this?
Yes, I absolutely remember that.
It's always the worst game of the week in the ACC. Right here on Raycom.
I feel like in Miami, they didn't have whatever that channel was, so they would just put it on UPN.
That's Raycom. Raycom would just buy like the local TV area on like the East Coast, and then
like channel 4-2.
My 33 loved Raycom. There's some dumb.
My 33.
Sorry, I just was thinking about that. That's funny to me. Kentucky going to Georgia. Al, Kentucky had a big win last week. What are we doing?
This is the worst pick. What are you doing?
So Kentucky is legitimately really good, and Georgia is flirting with disaster. And I'm not saying Kentucky wins this one, but I think they keep it within 2 touchdowns. So Kentucky plus 14.5 is another one I love this week.
So you think Kentucky's legitimately good?
I think Kentucky can score points. I think Georgia gives up points. And I think Georgia scores when they find it convenient, and I don't think Kentucky will make it very convenient for them.
Is that Florida and Vanderbilt wins that have you believe in, or is it the Akron or Eastern Kentucky?
I think it's the averaging like 30-something points a game that has me believing.
Okay. Averaging more than 4 touchdowns. Yeah, I get that.
So, yeah.
I will
mean,
say,
You know a team that'll take a team that averages 4 touchdowns against Ball State and Akron and make them score 6 is Georgia.
Well, you say that, but Georgia's given up 55 points in the last 3 games against Auburn, UAB, and South Carolina. So
2 of those are SEC teams.
listen.
I know. So is Kentucky, but like, come on.
I don't have a play here.
come on,
but
what? You don't have a good retort, so you're just gonna go, come on.
No, I mean Auburn and South Carolina are like actual SEC teams, and Kentucky's like one step above Vanderbilt.
Kentucky's better than both of those teams.
And
historically, Kentucky is the one step above Vanderbilt.
Yeah, sure. I mean, historically, Army is like the best team in college football. If you count 100 years ago, they won like 8 championships in every decade.
I don't know, man. I mean, Georgia against Ball State, 45-3. Kentucky against Ball State, 44-14.
Listen. Let's have our native Georgian weigh in here. Let's get.
I feel like we have
close to home here.
12-point discrepancy there.
like, hey guys, I don't have a play on this. I like Al's play because the two SEC teams they played, they didn't beat either one of them by 14.5 points.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't. Kentucky's been playing good.
Keep in mind, Danny, you're saying that your choice of Auburn in our bad draft was a great pick.
No, I thought it was a terrible pick, and
I don't know. You chose them to be bad. I don't care if you didn't know the rules.
Man, he's got you by the short hairs here, bud. Let's move on and go to Michigan at Minnesota. Danny, what are you doing here?
I'm laying the points with Michigan. Nobody's scoring 7 points on Michigan, and that means they only have to get their 4 touchdowns against Minnesota. And Minnesota just hasn't been it this year. So
yeah, I like it.
And you have the opportunity to push somehow on 19. I feel like spreads are always like hooked, and I love seeing a whole number because it makes me try to imagine.
But a whole number on 19. It's moved to 19 and a half now.
I hope it's 30-11. No, I hope it's
29 to 10.
Like 4-23. Just like they got 2 safeties somehow and 23 points.
So just to put this in perspective, I'm picking against Minnesota getting 7 points because they put up 13 on UNC and 13 on Nebraska.
No, I like it.
Those are not good defenses.
I've been really pondering trying to get the team total under 13.5 for Minnesota because Michigan is.
Why do you need it under 13.5? They only put up 13 against UNC.
That's what I'm saying.
Michigan's not allowed more than 7 either. So
I like it.
Yeah. I mean, I'd take it under 6.5. I might do that also.
I love that. Alt under 10.5. Ooh.
Alt under team totals.
Getting
spicy.
Yeah. So let me tell you guys. This is going to be a little PSA for all of our listeners out there. You're going to hear a lot of talking heads, a lot of so-called experts tell you this week that Louisville is the play here. Louisville's back. They're good this year. They have a potent offense. They can hang with Notre Dame, especially at home. I am here to tell you that is complete dog shit. Lay the motherfucking bank on Notre Dame minus 6.5. Like, they're covering this like twice over. It's easy.
So
it's not even one of my 3 favorite bets, but I love it a lot.
So I do want to say that Notre Dame should have lost that game against Duke. Sam Hartman had to run on 4th and 16 to get that game.
Duke is good.
I no, they looked good. They looked the part. They looked like a Big Ten team. Not saying that's a good thing. I'm just saying they looked competitive and they looked real. And God, that's awful for Riley Leonard. I feel terrible for that dude.
Oh, yeah.
He get hurt in a play that really didn't matter at the end of the game. And he's going to be out multiple weeks, and that team's going to stink now. He was the heart and soul of that team. They got a good defense, but they're still going to stink.
So Duke's defense has been like shocking. I mean, Riley Leonard is definitely the heart and soul of this team, but like Duke's defense has been shockingly good this year. Talk about teams that haven't given up more than 7 points. They gave up 7 to Clemson. UConn, come on. But they only gave up 14 to Northwestern, but they're putting up 38. And then they only gave up 21 to Notre Dame. But, come on, that was like a 14-7 game the whole time. And then Notre Dame made some shit happen in the fourth quarter. So
they shouldn't have. That game should have been dead. Sam Hartman,
Duke's defense is legit, man. And Riley Leonard, that was going to be a fun team this whole year. And then
I'm just looking at the schedule, and it still can be. The only real obvious loss now is the FSU one, which that would have been a really fun game with Riley Leonard to watch, and so we're robbed of that in theory, unless he's back in 2 weeks, but that seems unlikely.
Oh man,
that'd
be some healing.
Hopefully,
that'd be some healing.
I don't think he will be though. If he gets back by November, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I googled it earlier. It looks like a high ankle sprain, which is probably going to be a while.
It looked worse than a high ankle sprain.
It looks so bad. It looks so bad watching it. And it goes on to the theme of this weekend was if you had a bye this week, you made it, because I saw like 10 people get carted off. West Virginia secondary got carted off, all of them. Like they lost like 2 corners and a safety to like horrific injuries. One of them took like 20 minutes, had the air cast on. He had to do like the thumbs up. It was gross. So,
no, the worst one was Tennessee's star receiver,
Brew McCoy.
Yeah, McCoy. That one just kept getting posted and reposted on Twitter, and
a lot of gross injuries. It's a disgusting sport we love so much.
Yeah, we really shouldn't watch it. What do you want to bet on next, guys?
You guys want to talk Georgia Tech Miami, or you just want to talk bets? Want me to give you some money?
We can talk Georgia Tech Miami. I mean, it's homecoming. I'm going to the game. Al couldn't convince his wife to let him come.
Yeah. I mean,
that's actually not true. I couldn't convince Al's wife to let Al come, or whatever. The other reverse of that. I was trying to get Christine to come, and Al said no.
Al's gonna come. Sorry, Al. You have any thoughts on the game?
No.
Okay.
Georgia Tech has been pretty bad on defense, particularly against the pass. I feel like that bodes well for Tyler Van Dyke, but that hasn't been that hasn't needed to be our strength, because I'm a little concerned the last couple games, because it seems like we're getting back into just run because it's working, and not getting out, getting TVD in a rhythm, and we're gonna need that in 2 weeks for sure.
Yeah,
we're not.
I feel like
ram it down.
It feels like a letdown spot, or like a look ahead spot, where we're looking ahead to Clemson, and we just kind of eke by Georgia Tech. But I'm sick of betting against my teams. Why can't Miami go out and hang a 50 burger on Georgia Tech and then also get up for Clemson?
Miami's going to cover the number. Just I feel good about it. I'm not betting it here, but I'm going to bet it privately. But let's go to Texas Tech Baylor. Texas Tech. Okay. So there's one thing I want to discuss here. Houston could not lose that game against Texas Tech last week. That they lost in such bad fashion with dumb things, dumb ways to lose games, blocked punts, things of that nature. When Texas Tech was wheeling out their 4th string quarterback, Dana Holgorsen. I'm going to write this down, guys. October 15th. By October 15th, Dana Holgorsen will be fired if he loses against West Virginia. You can jot that down in your little notebook. He'll be gone. I've identified the game.
Just to be clear, that game wasn't even close.
No, it was bad. It was a bad.
It was their 4th string quarterback. It wasn't even close. And Baylor needed a freak comeback to come back and beat UCF. It wasn't like they were making incredible plays all over the place. It was like there were weird fumbles and they had short fields. And I like Texas Tech to win this game.
I do too. I'm pondering that play as well. I like Texas Tech laying the 1. I hate going. Waco can be weird, especially at night. But that team, both teams have been in bad form.
Yeah, it's not a game I'm going to bet on just because it looks like it's prime for too much shenanigans.
One of the reasons I have this game in my queues, because I just know this is going to be in every quad box.
It really will be. It's going to be in every box. I hate that. The quad box system, while great, I need some
Andy
customability.
can show us how to do it. He has quad box where
Customization.
if you use your computer and then cast it, but like you have to cast from a real computer to your TV, it works better. But like I know this one, I don't really mind having like one trash game as long as I have a bet on that trash game.
Yeah.
Sonny, what you got? You're going to say something?
I was just gonna say that you can select all your games in the quad box if you do it on your computer.
Well, I need to do that instead of being lazy and gluing my ass to the TV in a diaper, like I said last podcast.
So you have to do it from like a computer and then cast it to your TV, and you can pick the 4 games.
Yeah, or if you have like a computer hooked up to your TV, like you stream through your computer, you can do it through there. But yeah.
That's actually like a useful thing that people listening might actually care about.
No, that's good.
I know at least one other buddy I could tell that to.
All right, let's go to a really terrible game. Colorado State into Utah State. Al, what are you doing here?
Yeah, this is the third bet that I really like, along with Colorado, and I forget what the other one was, but I'm laying a point with Colorado State. Colorado State is not a bad team. They are an underrated team. They are a team that is miles better than Utah
That's a
State.
bad team.
Because Utah State is indeed a bad team, and I don't care that this one's on the road. I'm laying the point with Colorado State.
I'm kind of on a similar fashion. Both teams are not particularly good, but Utah State is really not good. Under 66, that is way too many points. I think this game will be like in the middle 50s in a best case scenario. Take the under here at 66. Let's go to 10 o'clock. We got Oregon State going into Cal. Al, what are you doing here?
So I'm taking under 53. The logic is Oregon State, they're a run-heavy team. Cal supposedly has a pretty good defense. I also think Oregon State's going to win the game. So you put all of that together, and I think that means we keep this one low scoring.
Yeah, I like it too.
Oregon State's defense has been solid, so the low scoring makes a lot of sense.
Everything points to go under, so I'm in for that. And then Danny's got a chase of the night. Danny, if I'm down bad, I've been drinking, losing.
I actually, I never get down gambling. You guys know me. I win all my bets.
Yeah, you did.
But I'm not giving this one out, but because I haven't decided how many units I'm going to have to place on it until I know how many units I've lost around 10-15. So I won't. I mean, those 3:30 games will all be over. I won't know the result, I think, of that Texas Tech bet yet. But that Michigan bet I should know is pretty well in hand. So I should have that win there to kind of offset maybe some of my losses from earlier. But, just figure this out, however many units you need to cover the rest of the day, and lay it on the 21.5. If you're up on the day, just leave this game alone.
21.5 on USC, by the way.
Yeah, lay the 21.5 on USC.
Danny, chug a beer just for being a great guy.
Cheers.
Stand-up guy. I have lost so many dollars this year chasing USC late that I can't do it. But I hope you're right. I hope everyone else profits. I can't lose more money on USC at 10:30.
It feels
right. I agree. I would love to do it now, but I'm just once bitten, twice shy with them. All right.
This is the week we get back on track. I think all of us are going to be over 500.
I like them all.
I wish I could put like a contingent play on this on the podcast where, like, if I'm up, this is only a 2-unit play, but if I'm down, it's the number of units I'm down times 3.
You could be like Danny had a 3 and 37 week this week.
But he's up.
He's up financially. All right, boys, let's do our chuggy bets. Al, what do you like here, buddy?
Oh, yeah. I am going with Colorado -4.
Colorado -4. Sonny, what are you doing here?
Over 53 FSU.
Over 53 in Virginia Tech FSU. Danny, what you like?
Michigan minus 19. It's moved to 19.5 now, but I got it at 19.
Michigan minus 19. I'm going to do mine on the Colorado State, Utah State under 66. That is awful. That's way too many points. No one should have to do that. And that is an episode of ChuggieBets. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate it. I know Danny does. Sunshine, Alex especially appreciates it. Please feel free to like, subscribe, tell a friend, tell an enemy, do all that stuff. Comment. If you leave a comment, I'll make sure to make a comment on the podcast so you feel like you're included in the conversation. But until next time, cheers. And good night, Joey.
Good night, Joey.
Cheers.
Good night.
Good night.